Hello and welcome. In this video I will give you a short introduction to the user interface and also show you how to save the VIA template as one of the default templates. So once you have opened Revit, you will have a user interface looking more or less like this. And down here we have access to the latest families that we have been working on. And maybe in your case, if this is the first time that you're opening Revit, you will have access to some default families. And a family is, for example, it could be a window, a door, or in this case we have a small table. So it's small components. Whereas a project, which we have up here, a project will contain, for example, several buildings, but it could also have a lot of different family components placed within the building. And for the first semester we will have the main focus on the project, and again up here we will have access to the latest projects that we have been working on, and maybe in your case you will have access to some default projects. Over here we have some shortcuts. For example, we can open an existing project, we can click on new and select a template to start a new project, or we have shortcuts to some templates. And in this case we want to have a shortcut for the VIA template. And to create the shortcut we will go to the application menu in the upper left corner and click on options, and in here we will select the file locations, and to add the VIA template we will click on the plus and select the template that you should have downloaded from StudyNet. And if I just move this a bit, in this case it's quite important that you keep the template at the same location, because if I select this template and then later move the template, then the paths will no longer be valid and we're not able to use the shortcut. So it's quite important that you keep the template at the same location. So in this case I'll just select it and click on open. And now I will just move the VIA template to the top. So I'll just click on the template and then use the arrow to move it up, and then I will say OK. And now we can see that we have a shortcut for the VIA template. To create a new project we can select the VIA template, and now we get this starting view, and we can also see that we have a window called Project Browser, and we also have another window called Properties. And once you start to work with Revit, you will notice that we will use both Properties and Project Browser quite a lot. So if you by mistake close the Properties and the Project Browser, then you can open them again if you go to the View ribbon and select User Interface, and in here you can select the Project Browser and also Properties. And once you start designing in Revit, maybe you will want to minimize the size of the window. You can just drag it to move it downwards, or maybe you want to place the Project Browser and the Properties on top of each other. So if I select the Properties and drag it and place it on top of the Project Browser, I can now switch between the Project Browser and Properties if I click in the bottom, or I can place them apart. If I click on Properties and hold the mouse button down, then I can drag it and place it somewhere else. So it's up to you to find a layout of how you want to work, but this was just a short introduction to the user interface and also how to select the VIA template as one of the default templates.